So, hello everybody, welcome to today's live session. First of all, apologies, I do have still a sore throat, so I try to actually go through it rather quickly. It is okay to make short videos, but still, talking for an hour is still quite demanding. I would like to make actually this live stream today available for the wider public. So if you see this on the YouTube channel, normally I'm running this every week, every Wednesday for our advanced and pro members of our membership. The link is in the comment section. It's the Patreon link. I just wanted to give everybody a chance to see what we do every week in these live sessions. Because how do they work? So I run through a lot of requests. Pro members have the possibility to request 2 stocks per week, plus 2 additional ones in these Wednesday live sessions. So basically 4 requests per week. Spaces are very limited because of capacity, and advanced members have the possibility to watch the recordings as well every single week. So basically you get because we're covering, I don't know, how many do I have today? Like 50 stocks or so, which I go through every Wednesday morning, Tuesday evening, so people have an understanding also what am I doing every Tuesday night and Wednesday morning. So it's a lot of work, but it's very rewarding because this is like a community stocks scan, and we can identify, let's say, as community, very interesting stocks, because I'm not even aware of all of these, but they are requested. I chart them. Sometimes questions are asked. So yeah, and then there are the timestamps so that if you have to leave early, you can find the timestamps of the stock. So we have a lot of stocks to go through. Again, apologies, I still have a sore throat, so I might cough here and there, but should be okay. Much better than during the weekend. Again, if you're watching this live, if you have any question, feel free to send them through. Let me see if actually anybody's here in the live. Hello. So any question, let me know. And I think we will just start. I will just need to make sure I have the Discord page open where I've got all the requests, because I did prepare them all in advance. When I do that, that allows me to just go through these much more efficiently. But if anybody has a question in the live session, feel free to ask. We're going to take a look at around, let me check. Just counting. Anyway, it's more than 50 stocks, okay? What I will do as well, if there is a 1-2 setup or an AB setup, I will write it down and put it to the timestamps. Okay, so again, this is kind of a one-off. We do this every week, but I think I've never made one of these public. So I just want to give you a bit of the background story. So it's probably also the only time I'm going to do this here, or the last time for a long time. But yeah, if you're interested, check it out. So let's continue. We'll start with, I want to actually start with hymns. Hymns was the first one that got requested. So yeah, I mean, on the hymns chart, on this chart, higher time frame wise, we're dealing likely with a wave 4 correction or a B wave pullback, and the idea is we could be in a 5th wave to the upside. The 5th wave to the upside, or C wave, yeah, might have started. I think I can identify 5 waves up from the low. I think I can identify 5 waves up from this, hold on. Just trying to load here my, yep. It's just not the cleanest. I would prefer one more high for a more clearly defined 5-wave pattern, but so far this is just 3 waves. So with one more high, yeah, unfortunately, I don't have the cleanest 5-wave move up yet, yeah. But as long as we're holding the $21.22 level, which is kind of ideal support for this wave 4, I think one more high is a reasonable expectation. Below this level, it becomes more likely that we're already in wave 2. But then it's just not the clearest 5-wave pattern. But there are ways to count this as well. But yeah, this is a possible 1-2 setup, even if we don't, even if we don't start the pullback now in wave 2 and we get one more high, afterwards this could be an interesting setup. Just make sure I'm closing the windows, or I have too many open anyway for my laptop. The next one is BMNR. Here I have to say BMNR has received a change. Not because major things happened, but it's trying to push higher, I'd say at the very least in a wave 4. So kind of in line with what Bitcoin is doing, which is stretching higher, and Ethereum as well, stretching higher. BMNR isn't stretching higher massively. I mean, you see this is still pretty ugly, overlapping, choppy stuff here. But there could be a chance to reach the 28.76 to 33.67 level. This could extend into a more defined wave B though. For now, I'm tracking this as an ABC in wave 4, which could lead to a test of the resistance zone here, the upper half maybe. If we then see a higher low pullback afterwards, then this could extend into a larger B wave. But I'm not looking for all-time highs from here, but because we pushed now above these highs of this range, we have at least a local breakout and could therefore approach the next Fibonacci levels. But I would not think that this is a very, very direct move. It will likely be choppy and messy. This is technically valid, the microstructure, that we're in an internal third wave, as long as we're holding $20 and 20. Okay, so this is the last swing low here of the internal wave 2. So just navigating here to the, I think I closed the chat window on YouTube. Let me just, no, there it is. The next one is UMAC. There are 2 wave counts that I'm tracking here. One is a recent addition. So the yellow count is new. It is a more directly bullish pathway here, which could send the price higher. Or in the white count, you know that one already. Here we're dealing with a 5-wave move up from the last swing low here in November. 5 up in white wave 1. And wave 2 could test this area between $9.33 to $15. But we need a pullback from here now. I mean, I do now have 5 waves up from the November low. You could say alternatively, in this yellow scenario, we are already in the main element of a third wave. But even there, I think it would be ideal even to get a smaller pullback. But either way, upside trend continuation preferred as long as we're holding 9.33. I will also write this down as a 1-2 setup. So, yeah, I mean, this is probably as micro as it gets in terms of the wave count. Anything else is unreliable. I mean, even this yellow wave 1 might see one more high. This wave 5 might see one more high, but ideally, a pullback would start. This is a 3-wave move down so far, so I'm not convinced yet that the pullback has started. Then we've got EONR, Eon Resources, of course, because of oil, currently very aggressive. This could be, I mean, it's not really an A-B setup yet, I need to see a deeper B wave for that, but EONR could go down a little bit lower, together with oil potentially. Now on the oil chart, what I'm tracking is, for example, A wave up on the Brent chart, B wave down, C wave up is a potential, yeah. So thesis would be that this could be an A wave down, B wave up, C wave down. Support is between 38.7 cents and 79.8 cents. And the initial resistance for a B wave bounce, the internally, is around 116 to 142. This would be our initial resistance for wave B. Could this be a wave 4 pullback? Yes, but even then, it's difficult to view this as an impulse, to be honest. So it would probably have to be some kind of a strange diagonal structure. And therefore, the wave 4 could also be somewhat a bit deeper. But yeah, the first resistance is here. Wave A could be done or nearly done. So I'd watch for a B wave bounce. Okay, so next one. Okay, so this one is MP. This hasn't changed for many, many months. I'm still tracking this as a potential start of a fifth wave up. This could be an A-B setup. I'm not calling this 1-2 yet because it would need a move up to be called a wave 1. This is not strong enough. It's low confidence. I don't see any evidence really that we started the next move up. But as long as we are holding above this swing low from November at basically $50, the move up to $100 plus could be underway. It's just not a convincing start yet. So yeah, any questions, let me know, but this chart hasn't changed in months. But, you know, for this wave 1, I would even say that if this is the move up, then wave C of circle wave A is a diagonal, which means we're probably dealing with a 3-wave move up in wave 1 or so. Then SMR, definitely interesting location, also hasn't really changed. This is an interesting location because this is a very deep pullback. We could be in a wave 4 support area right now. Could start a fifth wave from here. But I think there are some fundamental issues with that company. Best is to do some research about the fundamentals if you decide to do anything. But I mean, from a trading point of view, I don't really have a clear start of a fifth wave. So it's an area to watch, clearly deep in support, but no real evidence yet that SMR has bottomed. So PTEN is one of the 1-2 setups we shared and talked about in recent weeks. Glad to see this is breaking out. There was a chance for one more low, but wasn't necessarily, well, it wasn't needed. But yeah, seems like the way this is going, the market is going higher. So now we just need to see if the market can hold this last swing low. We don't have enough structure here yet, but it would obviously also be a 5-wave move up. So ideally, we are now in wave 1 of 3. And in the coming weeks, we can track for the potential of a wave, the potential, obviously, you know, of a wave 2 pullback. Now, I don't think there is enough microstructure there for really any micro counting because it's not even very clear where the actual low was. The only micro support I can offer here is the 50% retracement of the rally. But because of the lack of microstructures, it could be that when a pullback starts, it's already wave 2. So the only micro support here to keep the direct upside impulse alive is 750. So that means it takes a break below 750 to confirm we are in wave 2. Or already below 817 actually, but yeah, it takes actually 750 to confirm it. Yeah, so we need to hold the October low to keep the bullish perspective alive because that's the invalidation for the 1-2 setup. So let me see if there are any questions in the chat. No. So about Cocoa, yeah, I think Cocoa, a question about micro count. I mean, this was really suffered. Question is, could we be reversing here? I think we could get one more high potentially, but overall, this is still a fairly small move. From a structural point of view, it is, yeah, tiny. So the support area that needs to hold in a pullback is this 2,978 to 3,223. I mean, technically, yeah, I mean, technically for a 5-wave move up, you would say, ideally, you know, we could get one more high, but I'm not sure if the market is going to give it to us. So this would be, let's say, the first fairly clear reversal confirmation after 5 up, then a 3-wave pullback. So then this one was requested, OCI NV on Euronext Amsterdam. Lifetime downtrend. I mean, I don't really have a reliable wave count here because there's no support, to work off from. I think we could possibly have started a wave 4 bounce and get one more low. This can be classed as an ABC structure. I don't see really anything reliable. It's a lifetime downtrend. 456 to 873 is resistance. And the initial micro support is this one. It's between 279 and 330. So this would be our initial support. So if we now, maybe in a B wave pullback, ideally the market, reacts here and gives us a fourth wave up. But it's not really one, I'm not even putting that as a B setup on the list really, or I will actually, but bear in mind, this is a counter trend move. This is not part of sometimes we have A, B setups in the trend direction. This is not. This is, there's no evidence that a larger low is in. Could happen at any point, right? But we would need 5 waves up first. We need some kind of a trend reversal signal first. Then this one was requested. This is KN&S on Xetra, German. I really only have 3 waves up in every direction. So you see, we have initially only ABC, WXY. This is also 3 waves. It's all 3 waves. So I don't really have anything reliable here. My view is, and I have to say best guess here, there's nothing really reliable, that we're probably working on a B wave in a larger B wave. So from the 2020 low, A wave up. B wave is unfolding as an A, B, C, and that B wave is again an A, B, C. I could see that alternatively maybe a more meaningful low is in, but with a 3-wave start to this move, it's not very clear. Yeah. So I think the first resistance that we can define is the one 4-wave C of circle wave B. So that would be a resistance area to watch. So 1765, we're there now to 2446. Could easily extend a little higher, but if this is correct, we should soon see the start of C wave down, and I would pay attention to any rejection from this area. It's not a reliable chart. It's not. So most importantly, this is not an uptrend. It's not a long-term uptrend. You see that. So, for 25 years, this has been ranging. It's been volatile, yeah, but it's been ranging. This is the first key resistance. If we break it, then probably here the April 22 high at 38 euros. So, and then if we look at the DXY, I mean, the DXY, I released a video today, so that might already answer the questions. Short term, the idea is that we are here either in a wave 2 or a B wave because we have 5 waves up. And there could be an ABC structure to the downside. Yeah. So the idea is because of the 5-wave move up, we might actually have a meaningful low in place. Okay. Which is why the DXY might actually present a 1-2 setup or a B setup. Let me write that down actually on the timestamp list. 1-2 setup. So this could be interesting going forward, especially if over the coming weeks the market pulls back correctively. Definitely will pay attention to this. As you know, I expect the market to form a macro low in this region. Maybe it's formed already. The 5-wave move up definitely adds weight to that idea. Yeah. So overall, because there were questions about, I mean, a general question about my thoughts about macro. See, I need a bit more of a specific question. I'm not sure what exactly the question is. because macro is wide. But my view is that over the coming weeks and months rather, the dollar should increase in value. Yeah. Okay, maybe we form one more low, but we should be close to moving higher. I can recommend to watch the video that I released a few weeks back, which was our macro video for members. I will update that probably next week. Wanted to do it last week, but again, got the cold and everything, got the fever over the weekend, so I still have a bit of a cold now. But I will do that. And macro hasn't changed, but I wanted to update that. But yeah, I mean, it's I think we're gonna enter a regime where the dollar is gonna rise, potentially together with the TLT as well. A bit of a further risk-off environment. Then Circle. Definitely interesting. It's been one of the most impulsive rallies over the last few weeks here. I've been tracking it with you guys. Obviously, the extensions have been quite wild, yeah, which is why, and that's very important, quick reminder, in a third wave, when we're dealing with a third wave like that, the approach is not to call a top, but we simply move support. I mean, support hasn't broken in the last month or so. So we simply move up support. Yeah. Only a break of support indicates a top. The only thing that a trader needs to do is basically to understand what is support, where's my risk, and when do I understand, or when do I know that we have likely a top, and then just define your position size based on that support, right? If you want to use that as stop. I mean, naturally, the more extended a move gets, the further away we move from key support, because Fibonacci levels move with the price, yeah, but they still get further away at the same time. That's how Fibs work, and that's why if a move is very extended, risk is higher, okay? So position size needs to reduce normally. So at the moment, I think we're close to a top. We have a 5-wave move up. We could top at any point, but it takes a break below 124 for an early signal of a top. And if we then also break below 112.50, that's a further confirmation. So this one is the SERV chart. Yeah, here, this could still be a wave 2 or a B wave. We discussed it, I think, in the last few weeks, also extensively in the live sessions, but there is no change. It's just been moving sideways throughout all of February. So I think one more low would still look best, in my opinion, to give us a clean C wave with 5 waves down. This continues to be a valid 1-2 setup, which I would prefer gets one more low before we start an upside reversal. We could go higher already. It would take a decisive break above the green line at 1140. Then we need to think about, okay, was the wave 2 here in November? But, we're in that zone where the bulls could show up. Ideally, though, after one more low. So next one. So the next one was LEU. I think. Let me check. Yeah, LEU. Let me go to the right time frame here. So you see this chart has different possibilities. I can already identify a 5-wave move up into the October 25 high, which means the risk is high that a major top is in. And in the white count, we could therefore form a much larger correction. So there's a risk we have a top. But I've got a support area here which keeps the blue count alive, in which this is a wave 1, a wave 2, A, B structure. and we could just be in a B wave pullback right now. Even the B wave pullback here could get one more low. I wouldn't call this reliable though. But after the next low, there could be a bounce. The question is it going to be an extension of blue wave B, because that can extend the whole support area, yeah? Or is it already the start of the next leg up? Can make sense if we really get that one more low, then this is the zone to watch, $105 to $166. If we see a 1-2 setup from that low, that could be the, let's say, a more reliable setup, yeah? This here is, I think, just tracking the waves. We're clearly in a correction right now. It's at this point not very clear how much it will extend. I think we don't have a low yet. The next one is CCJ. Cameco, probably working on a wave 2. So this is a 1-2 setup. If wave B bottomed in April, then this could be our wave 1 up. A, overshooting B wave, C wave down. I've got a support area here between $87.11 and $109.28. And this could be a C wave decline, yeah, and we might move lower over the coming sessions. Like many uranium stocks, we could move a little lower. Uranium stocks are usually, uranium stocks are typically not really risk, they are risk assets. Yeah, they are risk assets. So in a risk-off environment, they might go down a little lower. But overall, still looking for higher for many of these uranium stocks. This is a 1-2 setup, but I see no evidence that the wave 2 is in. So I'm tracking this as a wave 2 to the downside, which might extend a little lower. I'm obviously keeping an eye on uranium energy as well, and so on. LAR, Lithium Argentina, is one as well that was requested. I mean, here I think we have 5 waves up. So I treat this as a large AB setup, but it can take a while to play out. Maybe something for the watch list. Yeah, there could be potentially in the coming months opportunities. Now again, if you use them or not, if that aligns with your risk profile, is up to you. I can only tell you from a structural point of view. I can see 5 waves up. Let me see. Yeah, it's also not really, I think this chart doesn't have the entire history, but we start here at the all-time low and we have 5 waves up. So, and then this could now be a correction. If we see it stretch a little lower over the coming months, then at the end of the C wave, there could be an opportunity. I mean, even now, I think we could be close to starting maybe a B wave bounce. This does look like a 5 wave move down in wave C. And wave C should complete in the blue zone. Yeah, we're basically there. So we could see over the coming probably weeks a B wave bounce. So something to watch. And then PEP. That's Pepsi. I don't see anything really reliable, but I call it an AB setup as well, because whether it's the yellow or the white count, there's a good chance to grind higher at least once in the yellow count. So in the yellow count, we already have a meaningful top in place. A meaningful top, and this here is an A wave down. We're just in a B wave. Could get one more high in the B wave, and then C wave down. So, but this is the support zone, $143 to $157. If we break it, we could move below 100. If we hold it, price can form a 5th wave up to $220 plus. Wave 1, wave 2, 3, 4, 5. But it's not an impulse. And in the short term, we're still in a correction. So it's still a bit of a falling knife here. So a bit of a falling knife situation. and I would treat it as a B wave pullback, as an ABC structure. And that C wave could be nearly done. So might be worth watching for a 1-2 setup to the upside over the coming sessions, over the coming weeks for Pepsi. So next one. Okay, so this is Tempus, TEM. This is also a possible AB setup. It's not obviously a very reliable chart. There is not really a lot of data. There is not really a lot of context. But we do have a wave 1 in 3 waves, however, into the 24 high, wave 2, an AB, possible C wave to come in wave 3. But with a structure like that, it's not very reliable. Can make sense to wait for a local 1-2 setup first. You know, before it's assuming that a low is in, because we've only moved up in corrective patterns. Now, it is still something to watch. We're still printing higher highs, higher lows, but ideally we see a reaction here. Pullback so far in 3 waves. Could be nearly done, but without any evidence that we have bottomed. I would need a 5-wave move up for that, and ideally a break above at least the $62 level, the swing high from late February. Okay, so the next one is HDD, Heidelberger Druckmaschinen. Still in a decline. I mean, this could even extend further in the orange scenario to new lows. I mean, technically, you could even call it an AB setup, but this B wave is very deep. I would call the white count very speculative until we actually break above initial resistance. And initial resistance is between 145 and 165. If we break above it, the C wave up, could, you know, take us to 350 eventually. But I would want to see a 1-2 setup first, because we're in a correction which is quite sharp and aligns actually very well with the orange count. I think lower is very likely, especially as long as below 165. Okay, so this is SPSW. We do have 5 waves up from the low in March, April last year. And we could be on our way lower in a wave 2 or a B wave. I'm also going to call it a 1-2 setup, but please, this will probably take some time to develop. The reason is that this is quite a large time frame, and it developed over several months, so we're not currently in a support area. We're just testing here structural support at around, where's that? 1240. If we zoom in, you see that the market could be coming down in ABC structure now. This is our support. Hold on, I need to adjust it. Hold on. This is support. 461 to $10.09. So wave A might go a little lower before wave B starts. Gonna add resistance. So it's $15.30 to $19, but we might go a little lower in wave A before the B wave bounce starts. So and this is MBLY, Mobile Eye. Let me write down the timestamp quickly. But you see, this is a lifetime downtrend essentially. So unless you're looking for a short here, you know, there are not really any clear parameters, because we don't have any support to work off. So we don't have any support area here at the moment. Just resistance. So between 1097 and 1382, it takes a break above it in 5 waves to signal that a meaningful low is in. This is a lifetime downtrend, could go much lower. Any question, let me know. But, you know, in terms of, you would need at least an A-B setup to the upside, or a larger 5-wave move to assume that we are going higher. What I can give you is just, let's say, downside projection, but that is not necessarily the point where it will have to stop. But the 100% extension is located at 480, roughly. So that's where I would, you know, from tendency, yeah, I would assume it's going there. PANW Palo Alto probably moving up in a B wave of a larger wave 4 correction. Key support, I mean, ideal support level is probably around $85. But for now, we're going higher in the short term. This could turn into an AB setup in the coming weeks if we get a B wave of a B wave. Do you know what I mean? A pullback in this bounce. And support for that B wave pullback is between $146 to $158. And then from there, we could get a larger bounce, you know. But it's not really a setup right now because we're still we're still in the bounce. But we could, I mean, it would not surprise me if maybe over the coming week or so we start the pullback here, or the next 2 weeks. CrowdStrike, that might soon give us the next 1-2 setup. Yeah, but I need one more high. So it's definitely one to watch still. Remains, in my opinion, an interesting stock because we have a 1-2 setup here. With one more high, I even have a 5-wave move up from the February low. And maybe next week or so, we can then add the next support area for wave 2. For now, micro support for an internal pullback here in a possible reversal is $391 to $425. Don't think it really has changed since last week. Just writing down timestamps here. I will still call CrowdStrike 1-2 setup because it's kind of still in that impulsive move up and in the wider pattern, which has lots of impulses. But yeah, this is the nearest support, but it's not for wave 2. I mean, this is not yet a clear 5-wave move up yet. SLB. So SLB has formed 3 waves up, very clear 3 waves from the April low. Looks like 5 down from the local high that formed in March. So I think at least we should get another BC in a wave 4. If we get one more high, we have 5 up. The risk is that a more meaningful top formed. But either way, we should get a bounce from the region. Here, now where we're now, let me put resistance onto the chart. Okay, so what we're dealing with here is a resistance area. So hold on, let me just... What we're dealing with here is a resistance area between 47.31 and 51.41. This is resistance for wave B, basically, yeah, or wave 2. And it's between 47.31 and 51.41. And against that one, I would watch for lower and for downside pressure. If we then find support in this zone, there could be a fifth wave up. Okay, so TME, that's the next one. That's Tencent. Yeah, I mean, Tencent, possible diagonal pattern to the upside, yeah, but the risk is here just that it formed the B wave top. It's not really the most reliable chart, I have to say. So, if we zoom a little bit out, go to the left, you see that there was an initial ABC down, which could have been the A wave down, then an ABC up as a B wave, and now we started the C wave decline. I only have 3 waves down, so in the white count, it's still valid. Next support would be this line here. So around 940. And also for a wave 4 in a diagonal, I mean, normally it shouldn't break below the golden ratio level. So yeah, that's around 1030. So I would really not want it to go below that yellow line there at 940. It's a falling knife. I mean, no sign of a low at this point. So next one is Occidental Petroleum. Let me see if there was a question with it. Don't think so. So Oxy has reached a target zone for a third wave and could soon start a fourth wave pullback. Support for upside continuation is between 49.85 and 54.51. So this would be our support zone that needs to hold to keep the uptrend intact. Yeah, to keep the uptrend intact. For now, this is a direct upside continuation move, third wave of a third wave or third wave of a C wave, and to keep the upside momentum intact, hold 49.85. That's the current micro support measured against the current length of a third wave extension. I think I accidentally closed Duolingo there. Yeah, I mean, Duolingo, I'm also going to label it as a 1-2 setup, but definitely not a reliable one, because Duolingo has been in a strong downside move for quite some time. Very aggressive downtrend here at the moment, very sharp decline as well. And if we talk about, do we have any reliable micro count from the low? I mean, that's what was requested. I really don't. Yeah, I really don't. I mean, you could always try to. I mean, I show you what I would need to see to assume that a low is in. That's this. I need to see all these 5 waves. So the nearest support area I could offer is this one. It's 89.28 to 97.23, and in this wave 2 we might have had a high B wave, but it's really too small. Yeah, at the very least, a break above this high at 119.30, because the risk is with a stock like that, if you try to assume a low is in and isn't, it'll just keep dropping. And so this is what I would need to see for a first signal that a low is in. Hold 89.28, break above 119.27 in 5 waves. So this is the Dow Jones. The Dow Jones is Dow Jones futures. Still shows downside potential from here. That there is a chance we started some kind of a B wave bounce maybe, or we are about to. Even if after one more low, that would be possible. Wave A could also sit here. Resistance is 47,939 to 49,684. Yeah. Today I would expect some volatility anyway because of the Federal Reserve. So I'd say we could watch for a possible bounce in wave B already. I think we might, and that's what I'm tracking on the S&P and the Nasdaq. No, especially the S&P. It's potentially that we get one more low actually before we start even this larger B wave. But this is the zone that, as long as it holds, the Dow Jones will remain under pressure and could be in a larger correction. The DAX is still sitting just above this support area here at basically 23,000 euros. As long as we're doing that, there isn't really a confirmed breakdown, but this is a line that has been holding for more than half a year. So once that breaks, I'd say the first focus would be on that yellow trend line. We can extend that a bit, as well as the Fibonacci support area. I could even add the next Fib level above so that you have the Fib levels that are relevant, but I don't see anything terribly reliable. This is just a sideways range. We had a 3-wave decline. So there is a chance still for higher prices, but I don't really see the setup on the smaller time frame to support it yet, and the price just doesn't seem to be get away from this support line. I mean, for anybody who's looking for anything bullish here, the invalidation point is the March low. So where were we? So yeah, Enphase Energy. Question here was on this chart, after a 5-wave move up, do we have actually a meaningful low? Again, I don't really see here any changes though. I do see actually a micro 5-wave move up from that low in March. Still tiny though. What I said in the last update was that as long as we are holding this red line at 33.58, we might call this let's say at least an A-B setup here, in the white scenario, because we are possibly starting a diagonal structure to the upside, possibly. It's not very reliable, but as long as this low is holding there, the market can try to move higher. The next objective for the bulls, let me see. Yeah, the next objective would be to move into this blue zone between $61 and $81. And if we look at microstructures, I mean, it could be a small 5-wave move up, So you could even say this here is our nearest key level at 38.50. And we're going to add another support zone for $40 to $43. So in any pullback, ideally we're holding that, but you also need to be aware here. Yeah, we haven't taken out any swing high. So let's see if this support holds. It's not really a reliable setup, but Enphase has a chance to grind higher, and I will follow the white count as long as we're holding. In the short term here, especially this last swing low there at 38.50. And then EL. So could a wave 2 low be in place, or do you favor more downside? I mean, of course it could be in place. I just don't see any evidence that we have a low. You can only really answer that with if you have a crystal ball, really, because technically you have all the levels. You have the invalidation point, which is the April low, you have the standard support levels. Technically, when this support zone is reached, we have to be ready for a move up. When the market is going to do it, I mean, also Elliott wave won't tell us that, but we can identify the key levels that we can watch for a reaction. At the moment, I don't see a reaction yet. To be fair, it is quite a weak wave 2 so far, and it could easily extend a little lower. It could also form a wider ABC structure, but that doesn't change anything structurally. It doesn't. It just means it needs a bit more time. For me, I'm going to watch for higher as long as we're holding 58.80, but I definitely will leave it space to go a little lower if it needs to. At the moment, there's no sufficient buy reaction to this level, so it seems likely we might go a little bit lower. Yeah, but it's a decent setup. It's a 1-2 setup. I'd probably slightly favor more downside because in terms of proportions, this wave 2 is quite weak compared to the extension and the just generally, how this wave 1 unfolded. But it's probably one of the clearer 1-2 setups. Also, we can define where would the third wave go to. Ideally, I mean, if it bottomed already, we should talk about 260 plus, but let's be a bit more conservative. Let's say if it goes a little lower, maybe to the golden ratio level, we talk about $214 plus for this third wave. So there's a, fairly decent reward to risk ratio, but it really depends on where it forms a low. Only then we can really calculate the next upside targets. It's not bottomed yet, at least. There's no evidence for it at this point. Let's remove that. Yeah, the ONDS chart is possibly working on a wave 4 correction. So again, I'm tracking this as a larger B wave up. Larger B wave up. In this larger B wave, we're tracking an ABC structure, and this C wave could still extend a little further. The C wave might still give us another high in wave 5, but then this internal fourth wave might also want to go lower a little bit. So either way, this is our support, 325 to 739. I don't really see a clear setup here on this chart, unless you want to watch for a top in the B wave here, which is probably not formed yet. And our resistance here is, I'll probably add the 88.7. So 1050 to 1418, that's our resistance for the B wave, and then we can get a C wave decline from there. A, B, C. If we push higher directly, it might be the wave 4 is already in, but as I said, there's no clear setup here. There's no 1-2 setup or so. There's also no sign that the B wave is topped, so probably go, I would favor a little higher in the B wave for now. Again, bear in mind, B waves can even overshoot. So the only way to trade a C wave down is actually to wait for the 1-2 setup first in the C wave. Then we've got EDSA. Might still get one more high. I mean, this is a chart that's like a lifetime downtrend. I don't. There was probably a fundamental reason why this suddenly started to move. Yeah. But again, I would still put it on the list. I think I did that last week as a possible AB setup, but we have probably not really topped yet. So hold on, let me just. But definitely worth watching. It's just that you can't trust a chart like that, and it might just extend and get exhausted. For now, we might still see one more high on this chart before it actually tops. That's at least what that candle is telling me there. We can define a possible target. But please note, we already have the minimum requirements for a 5-wave move up there anyway. So if it gives us one more high, 1236 would be the next key target. Seems quite far away. Not quite sure if we get there. Again, this is already, I mean, let's say the high probability element of that rally is done. If there ever was a high probability element, yeah, we could go a little higher. And then once we start to break below the last low at 480, we can focus on this support area. This fifth wave is not needed. Absolutely not, but market might wanna go there, yeah. Micro support. $628. So already below 628, you might start to think, okay, do we have a top? Maybe early evidence. RIG, are we close to a top? Yeah, we should probably start at least a fourth wave pullback soon, I'd say. Eventually, we might reach 768 to $10 in this move up. So this is either going to turn into a 5-wave move in maybe a wave 1 of a larger, of a larger upside move, yeah. Or if it really stays a 3-wave move, then the risk is high, it's a B wave. So, but either way, we should be fairly close to a meaningful top here. But if we see a local pullback first and a higher high, and it gives us 5 waves, then going forward, we can track this as a 1-2 setup. Then PSKY, Paramount, apologies. Yeah, I mean, Paramount has probably not bottomed yet. It seems on its way to $6. Yeah. I mean, alternatively, if suddenly the price was going to turn around, then maybe it's going to reset this wave 4. But for now, seems like we're working on wave C of 5 of C. Bigger picture can still be classed as a 1-2 setup. Yeah, wave 1 and then A, B, C. But then in this current C wave down, we're working on the 5th wave, yes, but it's still a falling knife. We should at least get closer to $6 the way this is going right now. So I will write down for this one actually 1-2 setup as well, right, for Paramount. And then we've got MRNA. This was a 1-2 setup. Pullbacks were rather shallow. I would say at least, I mean, I'm still going to call it a 1-2 setup because we could re-enter the lower support area. Something people might want to watch. We have an upper support area that keeps the yellow count alive, direct uptrend, and a lower support area for a deeper pullback. Both plausible, yeah. I'd say at this point it looks a little bit more like the yellow count, just because this could be a diagonal structure. And we could just be in a B wave pullback or B wave correction in a 3rd wave. So basically, as long as we are holding that $40.93 level, the market might go higher more directly. This here looks a bit like a triangle, but overall the scenario has not changed. The race chart, this was a 1-2 setup on a very local level here that got invalidated. Was a good one. That does not change the overall assumption because what happened was we've just tested the February low again with a marginally lower low that invalidated a 1-2 setup to the upside, but does not change the overall idea that we're in a zone where the bulls can attempt a reversal. So I'm going to watch for the next indication that the bulls are trying. That would require another 1-2 setup. It can still hold support here for wave 4, which is at 292. Doesn't mean we have to test that, but we could go still a little lower now that we've invalidated the 1-2 setup, because it indicates the bulls are not ready yet. but still a pretty good overall, yeah, pretty good chart. Impulsive to the upside. Just need to hold support for a wave 4 now. And then MU. Micron Technologies. The question is if we're in a 5th wave up. Yeah, probably. It's not the cleanest count, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So target for the 5th. The best I can do here, it's not really, again, with that higher 4 there, it's not very clear, but we're approaching higher level, higher degree fib levels. There are 2 levels I'm going to watch, 489 and 916. But if we go to the smaller time frame, no. So I'd rather say that the uptrend can continue as long as we're holding 216, yeah. And that being said, internally we might still be in a 4th wave. I mean, if you talk about this internal one, I just don't have a reliable 4 yet. I mean, it might be that this 4th wave bottomed internally, yeah. If that's the case, I will give you some additional levels to watch that are more detailed, a bit more fine-grained. So here I would pay attention first to the 38.2 fib level extension, 764. So it means next resistance, basically 490. I mean, 764 seems far away. The very first then would be 573 and 764 as the 3 next key resistances and possible targets. The Vale chart. Vale could be forming one more high. I wouldn't rely on that one more high, but support for the internal wave 4 is 1247 to 1484. If we form the blue count, it could already be a wave 2. So I will write it down as a 1-2 setup already. But please note we might see one more high, yeah, in the white count before we get a wave 2 pullback. Maybe something for the watch list, or some might want to try to trade the 5th wave. It's but it hasn't given me any indication here that it formed a low. Then we've got DMGI. DMG blockchain, it's just a range, basically. Don't really have a very clear chart here. I think it's probably a crypto stock. I don't know it, actually. Yeah, I mean, it's only, first of all, here in the beginning, we don't really have much data. And then this was a 3-wave move up, 3 waves down, 3 waves up, 3 down. This is also just range bound. Yeah, I mean, the only support area I can offer here is 19 cents to 31 cents, and I don't really have a very reliable pathway here at the moment. It could, and I'm really talking about could, go higher, like this, before it eventually goes lower. It could also have topped already in the B wave, but then we only have 3 waves down, and it would only move down in a diagonal structure, which is also not very reliable. So yeah, I don't really see a clear edge here between the 2 counts. I don't see very clear probabilities, but you could watch for a possible upside reaction in this support zone here. And then the very first Fibonacci resistance is this one. But yeah, feel free to ask any questions about it. But resistance would be 32 cents to 51. Just don't see any, let's say, there are patterns, there are structures, but nothing that would tell me there's a trend or anything, or that there's an edge, or that, bulls or bears are leading. They're just grinding in a sideways range. HTRO might have bottomed in a wave 4. This is a larger degree diagonal pattern, though, where the wave 1 was 3 waves, then we hit wave 2, wave 3. This could be all of wave 4. Could be. It hit exactly the fib level that we normally want for a wave 4. It could also still get one more low, but yeah, I mean, if a low is in, we need to hold the November low. Yeah. Next resistance is around 69, and then obviously 168, and wave 5 could reach 236 at least. But obviously we need to hold here this low of last year. From that swing low here in November, I mean, there's nothing really actionable at this point. I think we could say that we probably have not really very clear 5 waves up yet. Yeah. So I'd say this here was a wave 1, 2. If it's a diagonal structure, I'd prefer even one more high. Could I call it an impulse? Difficult. But yes, it's not very clear at this point. There's nothing actionable anyway, because there's no pullback from an Elliott wave point of view. So once we have a local top, we can define support here for a next pullback. But for now, it's at least trying to develop some upside momentum. First sign of a top, I'd say, would be a dip below the 2530 level. So a break of that level. So then we've got AMLIF. This is a 1-2 setup. This is a lithium business, yeah. But please note that with AMLIF, the risk or the pattern is only corrective. So we have a 3-wave move up from that B wave low here in March, and then a 3-wave move down. So 3 up, 3 down. And then against this zone, we could now obviously move higher, but it would also be a 3-wave move up probably, yeah. So I label it as a 1-2 setup, but please note this is a highly volatile chart, very dangerous, and also it is moving only in corrective structure. So don't necessarily assume clear and stable impulses. So just checking, I think one stock, did I skip one? LAC. Did I skip that? Maybe. But it's very similar. LAC also in a pullback area, could be an AB setup, might form a low in this support region. But like AMLIF, it's I call this one actually an AB setup. And we are in support. Yes, this is our Fibonacci support zone. I'd watch for reaction here, but we might not have bottomed yet. And it's just not very reliable. It's only a 3-wave move up as well into the highs of last year. We're holding support. I would need to see a clear 1-2 setup to the upside from here. A small impulse. And then we've got NVTS. This could also turn into a 1-2 setup once this B wave is actually finally complete. For a confirmation signal that we are going down in wave C, I think we need a break below the yellow line, which is coming in at the moment around $7.70. And then the market could target sort of this area around 390 to 522 in a wave 2. So here's a possible 1-2 setup. Then we've got all ordinaries. Yeah, so long-term 5-wave move could form soon. Yeah, we already have a 5-wave move up from the 2009 low. The question is just this 5th wave, does it extend a little further? And the nearest support area I can offer here for an internal wave 4 is between 8,083 to 8,571. So if we track this yellow count for upside continuation, I mean, this is basically the very first support area I can offer here, the first pivot. At the moment, it seems like we're in a correction. We started a correction probably here in October, like you see it for the other indices as well. And if it's a wave 4 in a diagonal, hold on, I need to adjust it slightly. It's actually a bit lower. 7790 to 8377. This is our support. It might, you know, what I'm tracking for the other indices, and this might play out here as well, is an ABC structure to the downside. So I don't track this regularly, but so I don't really have a really good feel of how it moves the all ordinaries, but it looks to me that we could also just at least start a wave 4 correction, or have started a wave 4. It's not really a very aggressive decline, so I would pay attention to this support zone for a reaction. Any additional questions about that one, let me know. The next one is SoFi. Probably a wave 4 correction, which could be nearly done. But because of how wide the wave 2 was, we should at least keep the door open for a wider wave 4 as per the orange scenario. But either way, I would be ready for a bounce from this region. That could be the start of a 5th wave that can take us to, let's say, $40 plus. I just don't have a 1-2 setup yet that would confirm to me, for example, the start of the next move up. Pilbara Minerals, it's an OTC, so it doesn't have the highest volume. It is possible this was a 5-wave move up from the 2020 low into the 23 high as a 1-2 setup. Now the market might be working on wave 1 of a larger 3rd wave. Important is that in any pullback, we're holding the 99-cent to $2 area, but I don't see any sign of a pullback yet. So once we start to see a corrective pullback, maybe over the coming months or so, this could be a wave 2 support area to watch. This is basically the only main support area I can offer here on this chart. If we if we break below it, then it might mean that wave 2 is extending. So the next one, there are I think around 6 left. Let me know in the chat if there's any question. Because we've got round about maybe 5 to 6 stocks left. So COHR Coherent. Yeah, I mean, here on the Coherent chart, we are also looking for possibly one more high in wave C. The overall idea is we are probably in a 5th wave, and the 5th wave is an ABC, and that C wave could give us one more high into the area 347 to 494. As long as we're holding $159, that is the idea that we get one more high. CRWV CoreWeave, I am not convinced yet that we really have a low in place. I mean, this is a possible 5 up, yep, into the January high and an ABC down, yep. But we would need, I'd say, one more high here for a 5-wave pattern. I can only really call this 3 waves up at the moment. Or I put circle 2 here. Then I can call this another 1-2 setup. So it's a bit tricky, but support is still holding. So my view is still, you know, as long as we're holding here the low of wave 2 at $70.40, you know, we might have bottomed. Again, this is a ideal support area for a wave 2. It's a bit deep already. And really, in my opinion, this must be the low to keep this wider 1-2 setup intact. I mean, if we break it, then the risk increases that Roman wave 2 is extending. Again, yeah, I mean, alternatively, you know, this is a 1-2 setup as well, a smaller one. It's just due to the double bottom structure here, not very clear. But if you're looking for micro support, this is it. $73.79 to $80.90. So let me write this down as a 1-2 setup briefly. Okay, so the next one is the FTSE. FTSE is pretty much going according to script so far. It got rejected at an important fib line, moved into support, small bounce. This is a B-wave support area. I would expect some volatility today due to the Fed interest rate decision, which might also affect the FTSE. Ideally, I would say this B-wave extends a little higher, but there's sharp rejection just now, so I'm not sure. Maybe the wave B already topped, but overall, the idea is this wave 4 should extend a little bit further. This B wave has still the potential to extend higher. I mean, in various ways. So, for example, as an A, B, C, or A, B, C. So the idea is actually this move should get a C wave down. The B wave might go a little bit higher, and I don't see a confirmation that we have a meaningful low in place at this point. Any question, let me know. I would also pay attention to the trend line here that has supported the price since mid last year. And ultimately, we might see one more high. I cannot rule out that we already have a meaningful top in place, though. I mean, we are pretty much extended, yeah, without any deep pullback really since April last year. So if we start a larger pullback, then first of all, to confirm that, we need a break below 9,760. And then the focus will be on a larger support area for white wave B. And I mean, the ideal support then would be sort of 90.65 to 86.74. And we've got the Nikkei. So the Nikkei has moved up high enough from this low in March, from the last low on Monday, to indicate that we've started wave C of B. So also here, initial A wave down, B wave up, C wave down. That gives me a larger A wave. Then we could get a larger B and a C. So basically a larger ABC structure to the downside could play out here. Our resistance area would be this one, 55,795 to 58,150. So this would be an area to watch. And in this C wave to the upside, I'd be looking for 5 up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we might, go a little higher in this third, small fourth, and a fifth, and then I would pay attention to this area for a possible rejection. And then just make sure I didn't forget one here, but I think I got them all. PZZA, which is Papa John's. I mean, the context here is we're looking for an ABC. It could still give us that C wave, but it's struggling because it's part of a B wave, right? And B waves are really, really difficult. It formed a double bottom. B waves often do that. That would be the B wave of the B wave. I really don't have a very reliable microstructure here because we're dealing possibly with the early stages of a bounce in the C wave, but it's only a 3-wave move up. So all I can say, I don't have a very reliable start to the next move up, and can't confirm it. Yeah, I mean, you can always bet on a diagonal pattern here, that maybe the C wave up is a diagonal, and then we have a 3-wave move up in one, and it should react. This is the support zone anyway. So as long as it's holding this one between 31.55 and 35.59, it might try third wave. But then the third would also be an ABC because the wave 1 is as well. But it's just not a reliable setup really. It's, would prefer that C wave up, but the start is not very impressive. Okay, I don't see any questions. I hope it was helpful. Again, for those who came in late, I will publish this video later for the wider public. First time I've done that, I think, but I just want everybody to see what we're doing every Wednesday. Give everybody a little bit more value. Probably won't do that for a long time again, but if you guys are interested in checking out the stocks membership, I put the link into the comments. The live stream you see here is accessible to our pro members, and advanced members usually get every week get the recording as well. So you get like 50 plus stocks. And what we see here in the live session is actually just in addition to everything else that's part of the stocks membership. So it's like just the tip of the iceberg. This is not the foundation. It's just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more. But if that's interesting, check it out. And I thank everybody for your participation, everybody for watching. Thanks so much. Sorry, as I said, I still have a cold. So it is what it is, but it's getting better. Drink a lot of tea and honey. So, all right. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.